This year's Indianapolis 500 will have a bump day. And who is the 34th team? Well, behind these doors tells that story, and that's a story that I'm going to tell you today. The story of Abel Motorsports and how a team came together out of essentially nothing, essentially a conversation that took place at a Christmas party, believe it or not. So in this video, we're going to talk to team manager John Brunner as well as driver R.C. Innerson. You'll remember him from a couple of years ago with the Top Gun racing effort. The car, chassis, and the driver are the same, but the team is totally different this time around. So, without any further ado, let's take a look at Abel Motorsports. R.C. Innerson, welcome back to IndyCar racing. When we last spoke, it seemed like things were completely different. You'd just come off a run in the Gallagher GP. You were looking to run in the 2022 500. Fill in the blanks about where this program has gone and ended up since we last spoke.
Yeah, I mean, of course, after we finished the GP, we were looking forward to new opportunities, and we had to get our cars and get things sorted. But we ended up, I think it was in December, maybe November. But we knew John Brunner. We knew he was the team manager here at Abel. We'd been here a couple times prior to even talking about it. Just we've always had a good connection with John, and we brought it, kind of floated the idea, kind of completely expecting him to say no because he doesn't want to do it. And it kind of came into a whole kind of deal. He called back. It's like, okay, let's do it.
His father called just after the holiday and ran it by me, and I, for some reason, didn't say no immediately, and we just proceeded to start making it happen.
And I mean, they're right here in Speedway, and they're in Indy Lights, Indy NXT team, so they've obviously got their sights set forward. I mean, Jacob, he's been doing really, really well, and this is his second year, first year for them on Firestones, and I mean, he goes to St. Pete, puts the thing off pole, and leads a bunch of laps and should have won. But there was a lot of battling going there, and comes away with his first podium, and he's got his sights obviously on IndyCar, and I think that's kind of, John said it before, I mean, this is kind of where their direction has been, and what better way to start than right now, and especially at the 500. I know that's a big bite to take, but I think that's kind of the direction they want to go.
Yeah, absolutely. We don't have any immediate plans for that, but getting this experience, giving ownership a taste of this, having the equipment in the shop, it for sure, maybe tries to move things a little quicker than it needs to be moving. We'll just have to see how the program progresses.
This is actually the same car, same driver as 21. Does that help with your comfort level any, that it is the exact same car? It's a car that you know you can go flat out around the Indianapolis Motor Speedway in. Does that help?
Yeah, I think it helps a lot. I mean, it's just a comfort zone type of mentality. The last time this car was ran was with me in it. So it's knowing that everything was kind of already set in the right spots for me. We didn't have to do too much with pedals, with steering. We just had to pour a new seat and get things underway. But it's definitely comforting.
I mean, you think about putting a team together, you need an engine. I mean, number one, that's the biggest, seems to be the hurdle for everybody. Jimmy Johnson couldn't get an engine this year. You guys have gotten an engine. How did that process work?
That has been the longest process. The engines there's a limited number. We started asking for an engine in January, and it didn't come we didn't get an agreement until April, beginning of April. So, that's probably the biggest hurdle is the engine situation with IndyCar right now.
And Chevrolet, why Chevrolet? What has it been like working with them? Obviously, you got the engine fairly late, but you got the engine. So what has that relationship been like between you and Chevrolet?
No, it's been nice working with Chevrolet. We put them in a tough situation as well. The engines are so valuable and everybody wants them. We're a one-off Indy 500 entry, not the ideal situation for them. We've worked with Rob Buckner for a while now, trying to get the program put together with them, and their support has been unbelievable. We're looking forward to the rest of the month working with them.
What have the conversations been like with you and the team past May of 2023?
Obviously, I don't think there's anything else this year. There's already 27 full-time cars. It's packed already, and obviously you don't want to go into that without full preparation or anything like that. So we're not even talking about it really until let's get this 500 done, see how things go, before we'd ever think about diving in down that rabbit hole.
We have a lot of experience on this team from all levels of racing. So to put an effort like this together, you're pulling some long relationships. We know a lot of people in the paddock. We've had to pull quite a bit of experience out from outside of the team also.
I think there's a lot of people outside of the sport that would look at this team and say, okay, well, that's the car that's going home, or that's the car that's going to be in the last row shootout. Is that the expectation within the building, or do you guys think you might not even have to worry about that last row shootout?
We're hoping to never even have to worry about it. I mean, obviously we have to beat one car, but preferably beat four and not have to be in bump day at all, and be locked into the race. But with the preparation that this car has had, the confidence level's never really been higher. But the good thing about being, the little guy really, is the bar starts all the way at the bottom. We're the number one predicted bump car. But I think once we get to practice, and you see some teams that struggled at Texas, I think there's a few teams, maybe drivers, that are sweating a little bit, because you never know. It could come out and this thing is just a rocket, or we could be struggling with some issues. You never really know until you get to Indy, and we saw it in the open test. Some teams had issues, and you never know. Somebody might have a bad day on Saturday.
We wouldn't be doing this if we didn't think we could compete. It's going to be tough for a one-off team for sure. We know that, but we're doing everything we can to prepare properly for it. Like I said, we have quite a bit of experience involved with this group, so odds are, everybody's thinking we're the easy out, and I'm fine with them thinking that, we're going to go out there and do our job, and I think we can make this field.
So hopefully this video has given you a bit of an insight into how Indy 500 entries are made. Behind me in the Abel Motorsports shop are some of the Indy Lights cars that this team fields on a regular basis, but as you heard, it may expand to the top rung of American open wheel racing very soon, and of course it is at the 107th Indianapolis 500. It's an exciting story. It's one I'm so happy to be able to tell. And we got some great stories coming as well throughout the week, including, if you got to this point in the video, a bit of a tease for tomorrow's video. I'm going to have a sit-down interview, an exclusive, if you will, with Indy 500 champion Marcus Ericsson. I think it's going to be one of the most in-depth interviews you've heard with Marcus, probably, I don't want to say ever, but let's just say I think it's going to be really good. I think it's going to be a really great conversation, and I hope you'll be able to listen to it. So thank you guys so much for watching. This has been David Land on YouTube, reporting on the scene at Abel Motorsports with their entry in the 107th running of the Indianapolis 500, and you're going to see them a lot more on this channel, I suspect, very soon.